Hey guys, April Fools today, and just wanted to say something. I talked to a buddy and I used to work with, and he used to always say how I ate, and he said, you ought to vlog that. So yeah, that's a good idea. I'm going to tell you how we do it here, just because, especially in the heat, when you're here in the Philippines right now, we are in our hot season and it's heating up, and I feed the kids this way. Now, last couple of days, we've been playing out. They call it in the mud over in the dirt area. We found some paint lids, and we're having frisbees, and they're getting pretty dang good at it. But my wife's always hollering, feed them. Well, they're not really that hungry. They're just not, and me either. When it's hot like this, you just don't get as hungry as you would in the winter time. Where you're eating a lot. But when they do want something, I brought them in yesterday, and we had carrots, cucumbers, and we have those turnips. Faye, what are those turnips called again? Cinco Mas. They're called Cinco Mas. So, but they're like a little sweet turnip. They got a hard skin on them. They're dirt cheap here right now. They're in season right now, so they're incredibly cheap. Kids love them. So that's pretty much what we eat. I remember when I was a kid, my mom had this big glass partitioned, like rectangular plate, and she called it a relish tray. And she had always celery sticks, carrots, olives, green and black, and just like anything you wanted like that. It was always sitting there. If you walked in and wanted to stuff something in your face, you grabbed that. It was always sitting there, and she always kept it freshened up. And you weren't allowed to go into the refrigerator. She wasn't one for that. That's what we were talking about. I was talking to a lady about the air being a liquid, because I saw it pour out. Well, it's actually not a liquid. We got some people going back and forth. It's a fluid. It can be a fluid. So that's something I like to keep for these kids. And also here, fruit. All the fruit they want. If we do apples, we'll buy 25 apples. I'm not kidding you. They're gone in a couple days. These kids just go nuts for the apples. Oranges, we've been getting good deals on them. Watermelon, just forget it. I don't care how big of a watermelon I cut up. That baby's gone. But between all of us, it's just gone. And usually one sitting, or maybe we'll have a little bit left over. But if you eat like that, eat light. You're definitely going to feel better here. Make sure you get the water. You're sweating out your minerals too. Make sure you have a good plant-soluble mineral supplement. Salt, guys, get your salt here. You lose it quickly here. Myself, my shirts, if I'm wearing a shirt out, especially a black one, you could see the salt stains on it. I can feel the salt rubbing off on my skin. So you're losing that. You're losing the salt. Right now with all this, what do you call it? The Corona beer going on. You want vitamin D. Make sure you get that. Get out in the sun. Get that. Just make sure you don't wash it off. That has to soak 24 hours. You take soap, you cut it, and you wash it off. So don't be vitamin D deficient. You get a lot of vitamins and minerals out of the food that you eat. But we get, whenever we're eating, if we get want something salty, like yesterday, we were playing out there for hours with the frisbee, and then we were having rock throwing contests. My boy was setting up these plastic bottles that he found, and he was putting a little bit of dirt in the bottom so the wind wouldn't blow them over, because we had a nice breeze. And we made big piles of rocks, and we're seeing who could hit the most, knock the bottles down the most out of his pile of rocks. So yeah, it's just stuff we do. And we were out playing all day. I'm not one to be scared of the sun. I don't let the kids be scared of the sun. And felt good. And they wanted something salty, so my wife salted up some chicken last night, real good. By the time they got in, we were all hungry, and she made that. And the kids slept like rocks last night. We were out all day. I actually made a video. I couldn't post it because in the background over here the light was on and they were coming out of the bathroom in the buff. so I couldn't post that one. So I'm just kind of remaking it. But they went down and fell asleep quick last night. It was really something. When you get them outside and they play all day like that. We did have some busybody over here hollered at them. You get your kids inside. Here we go. Here we go. The invasion of the body snatchers, where they're pointing at you, and very, very just not nice. I actually went over and had a talk with her, and I says, hey, and she has grandkids that she keeps locked away in there. They're actually Filipino kids that I see that they're almost white. But a lot of Filipinos, they think that is pretty. Personally, myself, I like to see a woman with dark skin. That just looks good to me. When I was in the States, if you saw a woman that was milky white skin, the first thing that came to my mind was doper, druggie. That's just my mind. But I think advertisement grabs a hold of people. You got women, they got black hair, they want to dye it blonde. They got dark skin, they want to make it white. They got a soap here, I call it Michael Jackson soap, that they use, it lightens their skin. I mean, come on, and they hide from the sun. You need the sun. Get out in the sun. My wife finally got her to stop doing that. Her skin's dark, but if we look at each other, heck, I'm darker than she is. So she worries that she's Negro and it's bad. Well, that's an advertising ploy that they got you on, so you buy their stuff, guys. Be who you are. Look like who you like. Somebody got on there and said, "Oh, you ought to dye your hair and dye your beard." Why would I want to do that and be, put out to the world that I'm something I'm not? To me, you want to dye your hair or your beard. I know one guy on here, he said he tried Just for Men. He did some Just for Men on his face and got a picture of him with his beard. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. That's fine. I have no desire. I did it when I came here because my wife asked me to for the wedding. And I look at them pictures, I hide them because it looks so stupid. It looks like somebody painted my hair with a marker. I just wasn't comfortable with it, and I did not like it. It wasn't me. I gotta be like I am. But I see so many of them here that are trying to change what they are, and that's not for us. I'm trying to teach these kids, be who you are. My beautiful little daughter, we're letting her hair grow. The boys, Maddie's got curly hair. He always asks me, why is my hair curly and Mumu's hair is straight? And I told him, I had to tell him the scientific reason for it. I says, well, Bub, you're crazy. People with curly hair are crazy. So he's good with that. He's like, okay. But just remember, try to eat light here. I've always been one. I know when I was single, when I got put out of my home and separated from my children, I went ahead and I didn't eat 3 meals a day. Most of the time, I did. Sometimes I'd get up in the morning, I wasn't hungry. I just was not hungry. And I'd go to work, and then by lunchtime, I'd have my carrots. I used to eat a Vidalia onion, like that, especially in the summer, I guess summer and winter both. And then when I get home, I'd make something good. I'd always have some chicken or something like that. Sometimes I'd just cook if I had a bunch of avocados, I'd make a big thing of guacamole with onions and garlic, peeled de-seeded tomatoes, and a little bit of sour cream. Mix that all up and chips, and that would be my dinner. That's the way I did it lots of times. I would go sometimes for weeks on end and just didn't eat any meat, because especially in the heat, because I just didn't want something that heavy on my stomach. And I'd get hungry for it, and then I would eat it. But, when I was single, I ate different. Now, my wife, she wants to, oh my goodness, you would not believe when you come here to the Philippines, you're not going to believe how much rice you throw away. I read a thing here after I was here a year or so that was in the Inquirer. That's their internet news. It starts with an I, and they big front page thing about how the Philippines is finally able to sustain itself with its own rice. They, instead of having to import a bunch of rice. Well, I think the reason why they couldn't do it for so long is you would not believe how much rice gets either fed to the dogs or thrown away here. I don't know why. Every time it's dinner time, it's like a mechanical thing. She goes and starts cooking rice. I personally myself don't want rice 3 times a day. I don't like the way, like, she eats it way too much. It's too much. And I don't want the kids getting it that much either. Yeah, well, it's a filler, you know, all this and that. Well, yeah, I believe it's better than the wheat if you got a gluten intolerance and all that kind of stuff, but so much of it, you know, I just, and I hate the fact that so much of it, and then plus it'll get left in a stainless pan on the stove overnight, and she'll just go in there with a big scooper and eat that. I worked in a restaurant, and you could talk to Tropical Tim because he was one of the major dudes in a restaurant. There was a restaurant close to us in West Covina. It was called Pinoy Panay, and in California they put an A, B, or C on your door. And if it's A, that means the inspector says it's, you know, A1, I guess. B means they found some problems. There was always a B on that door, and it was because they were putting the rice in a metal container in the fridge, or they were leaving it out. They're not big on keeping food at a certain temperature. And then a lot of times it would get a C, and they'd be shut down for 30 days. Just how it was, and it was constantly like that. You know, you go over there, you never knew when you go by there. I didn't eat there, hardly, but you know, you got to watch how you're doing your food too. And in this heat, you know, all this rice, I'm just not buying it. I do like to give the potatoes. I can't get sour cream here, but my little daughter and I will cook up a bunch of boiled potatoes and have them with butter, or we'll smash them. I got a really good smasher here. My old smasher that was my grandma had a pointy top, so it was digging in your hand right here. It was just the stupidest one, but it had a nice hook to hang. But we got one that's a big handle with a neoprene wrap on it, and it's a great masher. And we take cream cheese, and it works. It's pretty good. I'll take a big half of one of those things of cream cheese and about 6 or 7 good-sized potatoes, and we smash that up, and we eat it. All of us, you know, we'll suck that up. Even my wife, and we'll have that either if we have some chicken or something like that. That's, for me, that's a good thing to eat, you know, but I don't eat it every day. You know, people say, oh, well, if you don't eat rice every day, what, do you eat potatoes every day? No. I mean, why? You know, they automatically have to assume that you have to be doing so. To me, that's ridiculous. No, I don't eat potatoes every day, and I definitely don't want rice every day. I could actually go for the next 5 years and never see another grain of rice, and it wouldn't bother me one bit. I've had so much of it in the last 8 years. It's, I don't know, and to watch people, I actually, whenever we go to parties, I'll take my plate and walk outside or something. When you see how some people gorge, here they like to eat with their fingers, and you'll see people just sticking their face down. And I don't know. I have thumbs. I asked a fellow one time, you know, you're eating with your fingers. I didn't see him wash his hands, but he's eating with his fingers. And I said, how come you're eating with your fingers? We got a fork, spoons, and stuff right there. He said, oh, it makes me closer to the food. I can feel the food. I don't know. I touch food when I'm cooking it, but, you know, I have thumbs. They made spoons and forks, and I know how to use them. So I ain't really dishing on the Filipino, but with all this kind of COVID stuff going on, and everybody washing their hands all the time, I don't think I'd be eating with my fingers right now. I wished when this first started, Duterte could have, and all these LGUs and all this stuff, they could have took the initiative and just started telling everybody, don't drink out of the same glass, don't use the same spoon with pollutant, stop eating with your fingers. They could have took the initiative and done that and tried to change this around for the Philippines. so they don't spread this stuff. But now I'm starting to see that no, they want this. They want this spread. I just put up a thing. I can't seem to be able to get it to run through, so I can put it on my Facebook about this one doctor that is talking about these shots, and he's worried about the people that get them, that you better stay away from those folks and stuff like that. So I'm going to try to get it up to the Facebook. I sent it to everybody I had on Messenger. There's no way I can send it the way it was delivered to me. I actually got on this Vernon Connor. Go on to his site, Dr. Vernon Connor, and go on his site and look at some of the stuff he's got. I haven't watched too many of them. He's got almost 200,000 followers. I started watching him, so he's pretty cool. So just interesting. Take a look at it. You can believe it or not. So, but I'm going to go ahead and let you go. I'm a little bit late on showing you the beautiful slow-moving clouds we got today. It is not hot at all today. And anybody got a good April Fool's jokes? Put them in there. I'd love to see just 100 of them. One of these fellas, it was living in the Pacific, or so. I got to look up his name again. I'll showcase him on one of my things. But he said one of the reasons I'm not monetized is because of I got so many subs at one time, and it could be that I bought them. But I also had, way over the watch hours before that ever happened, and over the 1,000 subscribers for months, and I never got it. So it has to be because of political view or something like that. But I'll get him showcased so you can look at him. He's got some interesting stuff. I'm starting to see some cool channels. There's a lot more expats here that got some cool channels that that are pretty good, and I'm just now finding them. But anybody see some other good channels on there, let me know so I can watch them. But put on there. Let's get everybody to try to find a good April Fool's joke to put on there, so we can all have a nice laugh amidst all this madness that's going on in the world. Okay, guys, I remember my grandmother. It was that was her big day of the year. She always had a really good April Fool's joke that would get you. I mean, it would get you because she deadpan it so serious. So let's come up with some, guys. And this is Rick Shaw out.